Hey, what's going on, positive people? What's up, HCR fam? And welcome to the Be Positive Music Show. I am your host, B Plus, and of course, as always, we are live right here on SiriusXM channel 154 and Holy Culture Radio, wherever you guys are tuning in from and however you are listening. I want to appreciate you guys for kicking it with me here today. And today we have a very, very special show. I am sitting here live with TuKoolTiff. Say what's up to the Holy Culture fam.
Holy Culture fam, what's up? How y'all doing? Hope y'all doing well. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, let's go. So TuKoolTiff came out with an album about a week ago or so, right?
Yep, 7 days, almost exactly.
Yeah. So about 7 days ago, the name of the album is Salt. And what we're going to do today, we're going to do a recap countdown, but we're going to do it live. So for those who don't know what a recap countdown is, that's where I take a look at my 5 favorite bars, my 4 favorite beats, my 3 favorite tracks, my 2 favorite features, and we do one final recap. But today is special because I actually get to sit down with the actual artist and walk through that countdown. But before we get to the countdown, Tukool, to go ahead and give them a quick little, recap of who you are and kind of introduce yourself.
Okay, for sure. I'm TuKoolTiff. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm a singer, songwriter, rapper, and producer. I love the Lord. And I'm a hip hop head. I'm a gospel head. That's the short version. So hopefully we get into a little bit more a little bit later.
Yes, we absolutely will. So with that being said, this is an album that I really enjoyed. One of the things that I do when I check out these albums is I have about like a 45-minute commute. And this is one of those albums that I just kind of put on during my commute, and I was just like, wow. After each and every song, that was just my expression. So I'm excited about this. So let's go ahead and we're gonna kick things off with my 5 favorite bars off this project. It was impossible, but I did the best I could. So Tukool, check this out. Holy Culture fam, you guys check this out.
5 bars.
Traded my will for his face, so the slap is the blessing. Call me too cool, the Tesla, the slide is electric, the timing is epic, design is prophetic, the rhymes is poetic, the fine is genetic, the mind is kinetic, every line is connected. Of days, my song is his forever, never retire the game. My bar is Shannon Sharp, I ain't got no skips. Rich in the mouth of a fish when I got no chips. Look to the light for the cheese, case of Blanco dip. I'm the gold at the bottom of the cargo ship. Feel like I'm my worth, my salt. Or should I be trampled? Is my reflection God's image? Or should I be canceled? Is God still good if no one subscribes to my channel? Am I really my @name or just fly off the handle? Everything's content. No one's content in real life though. Just flexing for the likes. Bigger flex for the rivals. Ain't no love online. You just see me now. You ain't know I living back then. I was uncouth. Now I look back like wow. Now my whole life on 10. I be like 9 to temptation. I don't fixate on frustration. 7 billion population. IG, TikTok, meditation. I never fold unless it's 5. Got over gold forever the tribe. Triple it flow. My God is alive. I choose to be cold, refresh and revive. And that's how it go. One push at a time. Absolute zero. No hero like mine. My mind used to be chaotic like the 90s Source Awards. Now my beast divine. The kind only the Source Awards. Coming to you live from the south with something to say. Bringing my love from below just to tell y'all, hey, I'm just being honest and that's word to 3K. I put my idols down, you let your idol wow, okay.
All right, talk to me, Tukool. Talk to me. What do you think? How did I do?
You did an excellent job. Like you pulled out a lot of my favorite bars from that, man. And excellent work. So I'm excited to hear what you got to say about it. Like, wow.
So let's start with the well, first of all, there's one song that's missing on these top 5 bars because I couldn't pick one. So I said I'm just not gonna do it. I'm not gonna pick any bars from the song. So You just might hear that song later on in the countdown. You just might. Right. But the Lot's Wife. The reason why I like that one is just because of the Will Smith line. Because it was so subtle. Because like that's one of those, it's low hanging fruit, but if you do it the right way, you won't catch it until like your 3rd or 4th listen. And that's how it was for me on that one. So what were your thoughts on that one when you were writing that one?
I was a little bit nervous about that one. That was a risky one. I know, like sometimes, that's a sensitive subject, what I mean? And I knew that when I wrote it, I knew that it was going to be a while before it even was heard. So I was like, I wasn't sure if it was just going to be like old news or anything, but it's one of those things where as artists, a part of our job is to, you know, be relevant and take things that are happening around us in our culture and put it in the art. So that's what I did.
Yeah, nice. So moving on to the overflow. I just like the Shannon Sharp skip line because I'm a basketball fan, I'm a sports fan. So and then I mean obviously when you wrote that, you didn't know that they were going to be breaking up right now.
No,
It was just it was the same day they broke up. I heard this and I was just like, that's just nice. So I don't know if you're a prophetess or not, but that one hit me really good. And then my next one, it's probably one of my favorite ones. Obviously, it's in my top, but it didn't make the top 2, but came in at number 3. That was Reflections. And the whole title of that track is, can you say it for me?
Oh yeah, Reflection is a required taste.
Yeah. So and we may have to get into that a little bit later, but yes. I like the use of content and content. That was towards the end of that bar. The at with the handle. It was just so many like small little things you did there. So any thoughts about that particular bar?
Well, that song in general was me looking in the mirror and really talking to myself. So like me saying, am I worth my salt or should I be trampled? Am I God's reflection or should I be canceled? We live in cancel culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we do.
Living in a world where the Lord is really blessing my reach. Sometimes I have that kind of fear of like, am I doing the right things or am I going to get canceled at some point? And then sometimes like as artists, we have to put on a performance.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we have to fake or pretend, but we have to perform. And sometimes I wonder, and it's not that I wonder sometimes, it's that I want to make sure that I am being who I am. So like, am I really TuKoolTiff or am I just that for the gram or for social media, or am I really cool, or do I have a temper and can I fly off the handle at any moment and misrepresent the kingdom? So I was that's layered. We can talk about that.
Yeah, that was tough. That was tough. Yeah, so man, I promise you we'll get back to that song later in the countdown. Moving on to number 2, man, the countdown. The countdown on Push It. The first couple of times I heard the song, I heard a lot of numbers, but it didn't click to me that it was a countdown. But when I saw your visual for it, your music video for it, I was like, time out. I had to get a 20-second timeout really quick. Yeah. And I kept rewinding it back like, wait a minute. And then like, I don't know German, so I had to go look up what 9 meant. Like saying no to temptation. I was just like, but the one that stumped me was 6. And I looked at that for like 2 days. I kept looking at it like, what is that? What is that? And this is probably a little bit of a rabbit trail, but one of my favorite rappers who's not a believer is Lupe Fiasco. Okay. So on his song, it's kind of like his coming out party on Touch the Sky. Okay. And he towards the end of his bar, he said he did like a little bit of a countdown in that song, but not really, but kind of. But he said first at the end, but the name of like his group was like First and 15th. But he said first and he didn't say 15th because it was the 15th bar. And I thought that was just like the dopest thing ever. I was just like, oh, like Lupe is just different. Yeah. And then like, I think maybe that was in my mind. I was just like, maybe there's 6 bars left because I didn't see a 6 in there. Talk to us about where the 6 is in that line.
Okay. Excellent question. I love stuff like this. So the 6 in there, I wanted to omit it because the Bible talks about the 666, and so a lot of times Christians always like kind of omit the 6 and everything. So that was a bit satirical to kind of skip over it. But it's actually in the syllables of the social media that I list. So IG, TikTok, Meta.
Gotcha.
So that's where it is, and then I say tation. And yeah, that was just me trying to find a way to like just do things differently. I don't want to just make things obvious all the time.
Right.
I want to trigger the brain. I want to make you think. I want to, I want to just get your mind going. as you listen, so that it can keep your attention and make you ask questions like that. And hopefully that if my music can trigger questions when you're listening to it, the next time you listen to somebody else, it'll make you ask questions, and maybe you'll find something that you know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, that's kind of where I was with that, in that particular section. Yeah,
that was dope. And my favorite bar, it was just the nod you gave the Outkast. Like, that was just like, from the South Got Something to Say, the Source Awards, like you just laid that out perfectly. And that was one of the ones that like I caught like on the first try. So I was kind of proud of myself. And it was like like first impressions are a lot. So this was the first song on the project, and I was just pulling on the highway, and like I heard the Source Awards. I was just like, oh, everybody knows what happens at the Source Awards. And it was just like, South Got Something to Say. I was like, oh wow. And then it was you made you said the Love Below, and you said 3 Stacks. And I was just like, wait a minute, like she's doing it. And then you ended with the Idlewild, and that was just nice. That was nice. I probably said it all. Do you have anything to add to that one?
Let's see.
Or did I miss anything?
No, it started with the Source Awards. It talks about the chaotic nature of what the Source Awards was. But you know, I'm from the South. I'm from North Carolina.
Right.
And so I've been from the South, and the South still has something to say. I feel like I don't really know where Christian hip hop mainstream artists are from, but like you don't really see a lot of the Southern people really carrying it, from what I think I know. Bringing My Love From Below, just to tell y'all, hey, that was Hey Ya, but I just switched it. Hey Ya, you know,
yes.
I switched it, but I was also saying like, say hey to y'all, the community of Christian.
See, I missed that one, yeah.
And also to tell Yah, hey, like Yahweh, hey.
Okay.
So bringing my love from a low place to tell the Most High hello, you know what I'm saying, to bring my, you know, just
nice. That's real nice.
And there's also I'm Just Being Honest from the same song from Hey Ya. I'm just being honest.
Yes, yeah.
And then I said that's worded 3K. Okay. Yeah, and then I do the Idlewild line. So yeah, those were the 2 or 3 that
you are a lyricist, and that's what I appreciate about the project. And kind of speaking of lyricists, I kind of want to pivot to a music set for today's show. What is a song right now, or either a CHH artist right now that's a lyricist that you want to share that song with our listeners today?
This one was really hard. I'm gonna go with Misconceptions 4.
Oh yes,
because it's a whole gang of lyricists on that track. So that's the one I picked.
All right, great. So we're gonna go ahead and hop into this song. You guys keep it locked right here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM channel 154. It's B+. I'm hanging out with TuKoolTiff, and we'll be right back.
You know them Christians is all biggest, want riches, burn bridges, build walls, tall fences, all critics, quick to call y'all wicked. But when it come to the poor, then it be all crit. I'm at Chick-fil-A with a single gay and we singing crave, finna pray, switch it to Kendrick and then the chicken came. Renegade, not cause it's the quickest way to get the fame. Penetrate, heart of stone and then I rode the living way. Be converted.
All right, and welcome back to the Be Positive Music Show, live right here on Sirius XM channel 154 and Holy Culture Radio. It's B+, and I'm hanging out with TuKoolTiff. Say what's up to the Holy Culture fam again.
What's up, guys? We're here.
All right. So we are through the first quarter of today's show. The first quarter of today's show, we walked through my particular 5 favorite bars off of her brand new project entitled Salt. And now, during the second quarter, we're going to hop into my 4 favorite pieces of production, and we're going to get Tukool just to kind of talk to us a little bit about her process of picking beats and who is it her? Is it somebody else? We're going to kind of dig into that during the second quarter of today's show. So with that being said, I'm not going to waste any time. Let's go ahead and get into my 4 favorite beats.
4 beats.
This that sit back, run that, hit back, how she spit that gun, head did that, contact dispatch, code word mismatch, never want his late back, never gonna get that.
I can't serve no God that can't speak back to me, spit facts to me.
Can't be no wonder when she gotta have damn God got in my feet. Better be freedom in my speech. Part of my grip, this how I preach. For me to leave my brother astray. God is too good for me not to show my sister the way. And God is too great for you and yours not to partake. God is too great for your life to end in the grave. That's right.
Summertime glow, but the heart's so cold. Summertime glow, but the heart's so cold. So I'ma take God where the church won't go. So I'ma take God where the church won't go.
Build your house on the rock salt. Seek his face, that's where the favor is. But you cake talk, big salt, game to the flavorless. May your mind be swift and your tongue be slow. You youngsters too quick to sick, man, you're so gun-ho. I pray you learn to speak life straight from your shondo and gain wisdom to accept when it's time to grow. On the microphone, I minister to monsters. Every time I get that microphone, I minister to monsters. Much like my mother's mother, I don't linger.
All right, so those were my 4 favorite pieces of production on this project. So talk to us about who the producer is on this project.
All right, so I am, I guess the term would be executive producer. I produced the vast majority of the songs on this project in particular. So, but I have some very gifted and talented friends that I worked on this album with as well, just to help alleviate some of the things that because I do so much of it all alone. So for this one, usually all of my other projects I produced solo. For this one, I really asked the Lord to send me some help in that area.
Nice.
And so I guess we can get into some of the producers now, or you want to go song by song?
Yeah. So we can, however you want to do. I do want to talk about some small pieces about the 4 that I chose. So on Divergent, I really like it's slipping my mind. The boxing at that part. I don't know what happened just to my brain just now. It happens. But like that part there was just like a nice touch just to kind of break up, because one of my pet peeves sometimes when it comes to production is sometimes it's just copy and paste throughout the entire. There's no like small changes or bridges or things like that. So I really like that. And do you have anything in particular about Divergent that you want to highlight as well?
So there's a lot. I had a lot of fun with producing that one in particular. So at the beginning of the song, you hear me taking a drink of water from a glass bottle, and then you can hear me put it down on I have like a marble. I actually have it right here, so I'm showing it. I have a marble poster. So like that was me live doing that, recording that. And so after that, I was like, I kind of want to take implements and that moment and implement it into the song. So at the very beginning, you can hear me hitting the bottle with my ring in the microphone too. So you hear at the very beginning of the verse, you hear open my eye, you hear like boom, ding, ding. That's me hitting the bottle again. And it's only in the beginning. It's a really dramatic beat. I'm into horns and strings. I'm a classically trained percussionist. I have an actual music degree, a Bachelor of Arts in Music. So
oh wow, nice.
So I like to apply a lot of the things I learned about just kind of thinking outside of the box when it comes to percussion, especially. But so beatboxing, it's like a monumental element of hip hop. So it's just like really hear that a lot in the music itself. But like you said, I used it to break up a lot of the like tension, but also add a little bit of a bouncy kind of groove to it. And I think it worked out pretty well.
Nice.
And that was me beatboxing too. So
I figured. So next up on Humanity, I noticed a whole lot of I like the sample on there, and I noticed as I've noticed in a lot of the project, is that live instrumentation?
That is live instrumentation, but it is sampled. It is
okay. All right.
It is real instruments.
Okay, got you. Well, nice. I like the horns on that one too. That was really nice. Anything in particular about that one before we move over to my next one coming back?
Yeah, so I had actually been performing Humanity probably about almost a year before, anybody else actually heard it on the project, and it sounded completely different. I actually changed the sound, and I changed the sample. I changed how the verse sounded, so that delayed boom boom in the chorus. I added that probably a month before I submitted it. So I had been sitting in that song for very close to a year, and then I was like, I lived with this album for a very long time. And that's one thing I would, like any artist who might be listening, I encourage you to not just put out music once it's done. Spend time with it, live with it. Because you can hear things, and new things can help elevate the sound of it all. And
that's good advice.
I wanted to elevate it because it just wasn't really doing it for me in comparison to everything else. I spent some time with it and opened up my system, and God downloaded it, and here we are.
Nice. So on coming back, is it kind of similar as in there's live instruments, but there's samples on that one as well?
Yeah, that one's a sample. So Howard Be Thy Name 7, that's his name. His name is Howard. He's a jazz musician here in Charlotte, or in North Carolina. I think he actually lives in Greensboro, if I'm not mistaken. But he randomly sent me that song. And this is why it's important to keep God at the forefront of your gift, because you remember I told you earlier that I was praying for God to just kind of send me people that I can work with that didn't really break the bank, but fit my style and what God was doing. And one day Howard hit me up and was like, "What's your email?" I gave him my email, and it was that song, and it was exactly what I needed. So yeah, Howard.
That organ on there was nice.
Yeah, and if I'm not, I think that might be him playing organ. He plays keys. Very well. Say he's a jazz musician, so that could very well be him. I should talk to him a little bit more about that. So go in depth.
Well, great. That's dope. That's dope. And obviously number one, I had Push It. It was just, it just doesn't get old. It's one of those beats where it's just like, it's just super nice. And then on the music video at the end, it's just like a little bit of just like it's like the beat just kind of rides a little bit longer on and I was just looping that last little part. That's dope. I'm probably going to end this interview with that.
Interesting thing. Okay, so Zay Smith did the exact same thing. Zay Smith produced this beat, and he hit me up one day and was like, "Hey Tiff, I got a beat for you," and he sent it to me, and this is what it was. So I had actually recorded one version of it that did not have the what we know as the chorus now, the locked into the kingdom agenda might not want to. It wasn't originally on the song. Zay, I sent the song to Zay. We had a Zoom meeting just like this, and he was like, "Back and let's do that again. We need more." And he kind of really pulled that out of me, and so because of that, we sat down again and repositioned where the changes and movements were of the song. So we kind of slightly he had every hand on it, but we kind of co-produced the arrangement of it. And that last piece that you're talking about, the vocals and stuff, that was all me. So it's all 808 right there, right? It's all 808 low sounds there, and then the rest of the, I guess, instrumentation is actually my voice just going and some other ad libs there. So
yeah, that was dope. So those are the four that I picked. Is there any other points of production, or are there any other points of production that you want to highlight off your album?
I gotta highlight the other ones that I was blessed with. Aiko Davis, she's an absolute monster. She works so fast, and I just love her style. So I was able to reach out to her directly, and she just pinned it on the head. I gave her like what I was looking for. I wanted that like real raw kind of hip hop vibe, but like with a switch up in it, and she sent me that. It was probably within less than 24 hours.
And which one was that?
That's Salt, the opening track.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
That's Salt.
So just kind of setting the tone. That's the title track.
Yep. She knew, she understood the assignment for sure.
Absolutely.
And there's my
Absolutely.
boy Trey, who goes by Tukool. He's actually featured on the album.
Okay.
And he and I tag teamed on Next. I sent him like some bare bones and he added some guitars. And he also did Reflection is a Required Taste completely on his own.
Wow.
Well, I added the tape stops in the where the chorus comes in every time and the music kind of cuts out right there. I added those, but like he did that entire track.
Man, it's very cohesive. It all flows. It like you use a lot of different pieces, or you use a lot of different producers, but it all flowed so well. Nothing kind of seemed like that person's really like that song, so they just stuck it in the album. It really doesn't fit. Like there was none of that in this. And I really like that. It's important. It was important to me that an album sometimes just kind of flows like that, because I listen to a lot of music on my commute. I have a 45-minute ride, so and it's right in that sweet spot too. It gave me the ability to replay a couple songs because I didn't quite catch it all. So dope. So that's the production on this project. So let's kind of switch gears and let's there's a lot actually let's do this. Give me one song that you dislike in Christian hip hop, like one of your all-time favorites. We'll do that and we'll get to another music break.
Okay. So J Monty's 100 Bars Part 4.
Oh wow. Nice.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah, that one just, when I first heard it, it just really like gripped me. Like, and that doesn't happen often where I'm just like, oh, like just it pulls me in like from the gut. And so yeah, that's my choice there.
All right, cool. So let's go ahead. You said part 4, right?
Yeah, part 4.
All right. So we'll go ahead and hop into this. This is the Be Positive Music Show, and we Right, welcome back to the Be Positive Music Show. It's B+. I'm hanging out with TuKoolTiff. We're walking through and doing a recap countdown of her brand new project entitled Salt. And now, around this halfway point of the show, we're going to hop into my 3 favorite songs. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to go ahead and hop right into it.
Let's go.
3 favorites.
He on the way back. 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 He on the
A bronze man, that's what the words say. But y'all out here looking for Iron Man, that's not just for the wordplay. Y'all looking for a hero to swoop in and save the day. He was the first to do that, the second he rose on the third day. My Trinity 5-7, how I live by God's grace. My testimony, a trio, harmonizing amazing grace. I must be Destiny's Child, peak the survival rate. Not by my hands, but God's plans, I got that Bible faith. Trauma counselor for the win, wonderful counselor, period. Praying for peace to your God, praying on ops in your lyrics. We peculiar, set apart, we supposed to be different. We sound and look like the world, so they can't tell no difference. It's not enough distance, not enough repentance. Everybody's talking, nobody's listening. This is terrifying.
judgment all over the world. This is
I've been pushing since my mama pushed me out. I pushed the boundaries, I pushed the pin, the pad, and push and pray out principalities. Wish a pusher would try to push the G up out of me. That G come with OD, the Trinity, despite the Sadducees. Okay. Locked into the kingdom agenda, might not wanna be in the way. New wine break, better remember we're drunk in the spirit, so pardon the sway. I'm pushing it just like it ran out of gas. I'm pushing that thing like it's pushing me back. If you are not pushing me, you are not good for me. Truthfully, I am just pushing the facts.
All right, so those are my 3 favorite songs off of your album Salt. Does anything shock you?
Yeah. Number 2 shocked me. Reflections, I didn't expect. And the reason why is because I get a lot of people who have, reached out to me and let me know like they really love Reflections, and it's been a shocker because I was very like hesitant to let that one off.
Yeah, that's, to me, like that's one of those deep albums, because like that's one of the ones that like a year from now, 2 years from now, when you talk to people about this, when people talk about this album, I feel like that's going to be like the one that people are going to be like, you really don't rock with TuKoolTiff if you don't know this song. If you don't hear her heart in this song. To me, like that was, we're kind of going out of order, but like that song for me, when I first like just kind of hearing your heart in it, and then when you said it's terrifying, like that was just like gripping for me. Like, and I think you ended pretty much every verse with that thought. And I'm just like, and there's a lot of things about in our faith walk that when you're able to look at yourself and your sin and see the things that you struggle with and you grapple with, and you with all your heart want to escape this, but it feels like you can't get out of it. And it's a terrifying feeling to feel that way. And then going further, it's like seeing like how the world is and how judgmental, critical. We got tons and tons of YouTube exposed sites, all this stuff going on. It's just like, it's terrifying to see that that's seeping into the church. And like, those are the Christian YouTube channels that are popping. The ones that have all the subscribers are the ones that are tearing down brothers and sisters who it's like, it's terrifying to know that like, I'm already hard on myself, but now the world is going to be, and like my church world is going to be hard on me too. So
yeah,
that's, man, it's so much I can say about that song. We love
to
judge.
Let's go back to number 3, right? And then we can come back to it.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
So Humanity. I knew I rock with you when I heard the Trinity 5-7, and then you had the type like their dopest song, God's Grace.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, oh, like she know like early, like late 90s, 2000, early 2000s gospel music. Yeah. But you threw in the God's Grace. That was dope. And then you threw into like what everybody compared them to on the Christian side, which was Destiny's Child. Mm-hmm. And then you threw in like the survival rate. So you like, not only did you shout out 2 groups that were compared to each other in the Christian world, but you threw in like 2 of their title tracks, their 2 of their hottest songs. I was just like, that's dope. That's dope. So
interesting fact is that Trinity 5-7 was managed and founded by Matthew Knowles.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, so the whole scheme of that was the 3s anyway. It's slipping my mind, but it's a bunch of 3s, and so a lot of it was paired by the 3s and connecting the 3s. But as I was doing research about it and finding ways to make the connection, you know, their name is Trinity 5-7, and DC3. Yeah. As I was doing the research, I learned that, you know, Matthew Knowles had something to do with it, so it connected even more there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, but just like the whole feel of Humanity, like I said, it was, I love the sample, I love the sound of the live instruments. That was actually the song that I mentioned when I said like the five bars. I was like, there were so many good bars in Humanity. I couldn't pick one, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it out, and I'm just gonna talk about it later. So I could have did the top 5 of my top 5 favorite bars just in Humanity alone. Like you definitely killed that one. I like the Marvel line to start the snippet that I just played. It was a lot there. It was a lot there. So that was my number 3.
Nice.
Now back to Reflections.
Yes,
that song is crazy. I know you felt like that might not have been the one that people may not resonate with, but it's a special song. So talk to us a little bit about like your heart behind that song and why you wrote it.
Well, the truth is that Reflection, because you would think that maybe Salt would be like the title track, or maybe even Coming Back, but the heart of the album is really Reflection, is a Required Taste. And the reason why is because it was me, like I said earlier, like looking in the mirror and pointing out and pulling out things about me that needed some adjusting and needed for me to put some eyes on that I wouldn't normally recognize. As I was doing like my studies about Saul, just off the scripture alone, Matthew 5:13, you are the salt of the earth, right? And a lot of times we kind of just stop there, but it says, but if you lose your saltiness, you'll just be trampled on. And that just, your worth is just dirt, basically. And that just gripped me so deeply, and it made me look inward. So when I started studying Salt, I didn't realize that I was writing an album at the time, but God sent me into a whole Bible study and a whole year of looking inward and figuring out, where can I be more loving? Where can I be a better representation of the kingdom? What have I done? And then turned around and been upset about somebody else for doing it. We talk about the finger pointing culture, the whistleblowing culture, and cancel culture and everything. And a lot of that is missing self-reflection. So I wrote that song looking in the mirror, talking to myself.
Got you. Yep. And it comes across that way. It's, to me, like I said, it's a special song. Can you talk a little bit about, and then we'll move on, the fact that it's a required taste? So are you? I'll take a stab at it. Is that saying that like you, like having a self-awareness to look into the mirror, like that's a requirement for being in the kingdom?
Yes, excellent question. I love that. The album is titled Salt, right? So with my visuals and even with my bars, I play a lot on food and taste and seasoning, water, drinks, and stuff like that. So in the culinary culture, certain things you have to acquire a taste for. You don't, in order to like appreciate it, right? So like caviar, wine, everybody doesn't like everything when it comes to food, and it's okay. But in the spirit, we have to be under the subjection of the Holy Spirit and what God calls us to be. And you can't just acquire a taste. And that's something that I see often, where people like to pick and choose pieces of God that they like. Well, I like this and I don't like that. So I don't have to acquire a taste for God's view on homosexuality. I don't have to acquire a taste for God's view on how we should treat one another. You know what I'm saying? Like, that. But the truth is that reflection and reviewing how we are is the requirement, because we have to make sure that we are in alignment with God's will. We have to make sure that we are in alignment with the principles that he has called us to live under and by. And that is a part of the covenant that Salt represented. I'm starting to go really deep into my research about Salt, but Salt was included in a lot of covenants and a lot of sacrifice before Christ. And that was because it was representative of value and foreverness. And so if we are called to be salt, then it has to have value. And so it's a requirement that we evaluate ourselves on a regular basis. And I am done ranting on that.
No, that's good. I mean, that's why you're here. Because just listening to the album, you can tell that there's more there.
Yeah.
Like I'm not shocked that you did research on what salt meant. You can hear it, and you can hear salt being used in different ways throughout the project. I'm not surprised that you sat with this album for, like you said, about a year, because you can, like, some things that, like, I think you had it in one of the bars about something marinating. I'm not sure which song, but I remember you had that in there somewhere.
That's
and you can
salt.
Yeah, so you can, salt is used to preserve food. Like, there's so much there. So so thank you definitely for sharing that. I feel like there's more there, but let's move on to my my favorite song. There's no surprise, it's Push It. I've been talking about it since it came out. I think I led the show with that song. I think I led the show with the song one week. The next week it was like during the first set, and then like the next week it was like in the third set, and then this past, like, I've been running it like for the past like 4 weeks. So it's no shock. I tweeted about like the countdown on there, and a lot of people didn't get it. People were just like, wow, like I had no clue that she did that. So any closing thoughts on the song Push It?
There's so much there, man. Like, Push It was a call to action too, like for us as believers to push it, to push the call that we have on our lives and not allow the enemy to get in any way, and to be strong in the Lord. You know what I mean? Like there's power and there's a sense of pride in walking as a believer, and that's kind of where I was coming from in that space of not allowing the devil to get in the way of my purpose and God's plan for my life, and not allowing myself to get in the way. And so
self-sabotage is real.
I'm telling you, it does it. The enemy will play tricks on your mind, and that's like one of his cheat codes. If he can get in your head, then you can destroy yourself. And so like Push It is one of those motivational kind of songs that honestly, God gave me. I can't really take any credit. I can't take any credit for any of this, honestly. Like I gotta point you to him every time.
That's very well put. That's well put. So let's switch gears and let's talk about 2 features. There weren't 2 features on the project. There was only one. But one thing that I was really pleasantly surprised about was just like your singing voice. Especially on Next, I was just kind of like, because I didn't know who the feature artist was. I was like, is that a feature artist? Is that her? Just kind of, and but then I remembered that you were featured on somebody else's album singing. So with that being said, let's get into our 2 features.
Okay.
2 features.
'Cause I've been too cool this whole time. Ain't ever had to run and I never hide. If you wanna look for me, you gotta run some. Spend 100 cold nights by my lonesome. Yeah. Pass me another one and miss me with that other one. Yeah.
Got power in the blood. Heavenly Father, let you make me hollow. In our kingdom come. Back. King of Kings coming through. Angels on call and they stay ready to. Word of God on me carrying good news. Harvest is plenty, but the labor's are few. Calling all soldiers, calling all troops. No time to waste, it's time to recruit. When we pray, step into a war room. Enemies been defeated, we got nothing to lose.
Yeah, he definitely did his thing. And pronounce his name for me again.
If I'm not mistaken, it's been a while. I call him by his real name, and I'm not going to say it on the recording or whatever, because I'm not sure if he wants everybody to know what his real name is. But if I'm not mistaken, it's pronounced Tukool.
Okay, got it. Yeah, so he definitely did his thing on that. That was a nice collaboration. And that was the one that was right before the end. No, was that before coming back?
I feel like it was, but we can double check. Give me 2 seconds. Next.
No, that was number 6.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Okay. So, but yeah, so talk to us about how that collab came about.
Such a random thing, honestly. And that's the power of prayer. We just did Enemies and Foes with Jay Monty. And he had just commented on one of the posts on my Instagram and just said something really kind. And sometimes I will just click on somebody's page who comments on my page because I just like, who is this person? Let's see.
Right.
And I stumbled across some of his music. He was like singing and he plays guitar. And so I just started digging a little bit more and went to his YouTube page, and he had this one song up there that he just took down. But it just rang in my spirit for like 2 weeks. And over the course of that 2 weeks, I had written and recorded Next up into the first verse and, formatted and everything. I was just kind of waiting on the Lord to give me the rest of the lyrics. And I was at the beach with my family, and that song had just been ringing in my head, and I was playing it. I was playing it on YouTube in my car because that's the only option for it. And I cannot get this man's voice out of my head. I was like, I think I need to put him on Next. And I sat with that for another couple of weeks, like just
Uh-huh.
kind of, because I'm picky about features. I really am.
Right, right.
This man don't know me from a can of paint, but I'm gonna ask.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked, and before we even got to the point of me asking, I just kind of reached out, and we became really close friends. We actually have never met in person before.
Okay.
From the north, up north, and
Mhm.
we just clicked so well. And so I finally worked up the courage to kind of ask, and he was just like more than happy to do it. He
Gotcha.
added a lot to the beat that I had already sent out to him, just off of inspiration. And when he sent me that verse back, it was exactly, you know, how you
Right.
hear an idea and you're just like, I could kind of hear somebody on this, but it was perfect. It was exactly what I needed to be, from the texture of his voice to his melodic choices, his lyricism and the lyrics that he chose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
It was excellent. He knocked it out of the park.
Nice, nice. Well, that was amazing. And I feel like, man, this is so good. I feel like I'm upset that I only have an hour to do this show, because I feel like I have so much more that I want to ask you. But we'll save it for quarter four. We'll might have to shorten that because we're having fun. We're having fun. So speaking of collaborations, is there let's just pick a song from an artist that you would like to collaborate with.
Okay. I went with Carpool by AI The Anomaly. I would love to see our energy on a song together, or even if we just collaborated behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just to have a conversation with her and pick her brain a bit. But I know a song would be crazy.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I can already hear it, because she has like that jazz element, and you definitely have that too. So let's go ahead and get to this joint by AI The Anomaly. This is the Be Positive Music Show. This is B+. I'm hanging out with TuKoolTiff, and we will be right back.
Mess with little sis, I brought about the whip. I don't need to say much. I know about the click, 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 flip quick. I see the barrel at the tip. No weapon will be formed, no handle or exist. Pedal to the floor, holy metal full of quip. If that ego wanna trip, let the kettle hit soprano, cause it whistle when it's lit. But I knew it from.
All right, it's your host here, B+, and this has been the Be Positive Music Show. I hung out with TuKoolTiff. Say what's up to the Holy Culture fam one last time.
Hola.
Yes, this has been a very, very dope conversation. But before we get out of here, I do want to ask you one quick question about your relationship with Jay Monty. That's how I found out about you. I'm not sure if Enemy and Foes came first, or you being on his EP entitled Free Me. But talk about your relationship with Jay Monty.
Yeah, so Free Me came first, by the way.
Okay, got it.
The Southside Sorrow song that we collaborated with. Jay Monty changed my perspective on CHH. If I'm being honest, I did not listen to Christian hip hop until I stumbled upon KB, Lecrae.
Okay.
I think that was the Reconstruction or Deconstruction album. I can't remember the name of it.
Reconstruction.
Yeah, that one. That album, and Jay Monty.
Okay.
Doing his first season of Testify Tuesdays.
Yes.
And I was blown away, because I had just told God, okay, God, here, you can have it. Do whatever it is you want to do with my gift, because I was making like just regular secular music about life and all of the things.
Mm-hmm.
And I had just said, like, Lord, okay, I want to give you my music. And I started with just simply stop cursing and just try to play music. But I could tell that he wanted more from me. And I just didn't know what that look or sound like, because Christian hip hop, from what I heard, and I know I'm probably going to get a lot of backlash for it, was a bit corny. And I wasn't really attracted to it. But Jay Monty kind of really helped me see that I can take the full extent of my gift and apply it biblically and, you know, wholeheartedly into the Christian space. So I reached out to him on a whim, like, you know, like he's probably not going to reach out, but I just kind of told him about how impactful his music was to me, and I kind of introduced myself sent him some of my music, and he called me that night.
Wow.
This was in 2020.
Okay.
He called me that night. He was like, yo, well, we messaged on IG for a minute, and he was just like, yo, first of all, I can tell that the Lord is on you, because I never see these messages. I don't even get to, it doesn't even get to me. But
right.
I see this message, and he checked out my work, and he was just like, the Lord is on you. And he offered his love as a mentor.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah, it was huge. I was just elated. We talked for maybe 2 hours that night, just going back and forth, telling each other's testimony. And from then on, we have been, tight. I have reached out to him for advice and everything. And we actually did a song in 2020. But I decided not to release it because it just, it didn't, not on his part or my part, but on the part of like, you can't just release everything just because, you know what I mean? I decided to hold off on it. But we still continued our friendship.
Right.
And so like later on, Enemies and Foes developed, which actually started with me. A lot of people probably wouldn't guess that, but like that song was originally just mine. And then I reached out, and he was like, yo, this is what we're gonna do. He was very excited. He was like, you're gonna be the first feature, and we're gonna do this. And I'm just like, okay, let's do it. And praise God, it worked out, and it turned into a beautiful track that a lot of people have been able to discover me on. And thank God for J Monty's obedience in allowing God to use him to, kind of introduce me to the CHH world. It was a blessing.
Nice. That's dope to hear. It's dope to hear that that you have a mentor like that to kind of help show you the ropes and the ins and outs, because J Monty's, he's seen it all. He's seen it all. He's seen it all. So what's next for you? What's next?
Next, I'm getting back on stage. I'm getting back to performing, which is one of my favorite things to do. My performances don't really look like what you would probably expect a rapper's performance is to look like. But I'm really excited to be hosting my very first solo concert, hopefully in July. But right now I'm gearing up to do a couple of small things here and there just to get back into performance shape, because I did take a break while I was in album mode. So that is next, and I'm always creating. I'm always writing.
Nice.
Always thinking. Always in my word. So
yeah.
They
can tell because there's a whole lot of Old Testament bars in your album. There's some New Testament bars in there too. So Tukool, this has been a pleasure. This has been a pleasure. Holy Culture fam, make sure you go to whatever streaming service you go to run up the numbers. Is there a place where they can go purchase it directly from you?
Not really. I mean, just buy it on iTunes, and I got my Cash App on my Spotify if you want to just praise the Lord. Blessings.
We take blessings.
Yeah.
I need to get my Cash App somewhere.
Oh, for real. Put it up in the corner or something.
Yep. Well, great. But this has been a lot of fun. And we'll maybe catch up off air, and we'll do some more things together as well. So for all my Holy Culture fam, for all my Sirius XM listeners, this has been the Be Positive Music Show. And until next time, peace in, confusion out, and be positive.